Hey guys, so I'm Randy. I'm the eating disorder admin for Vocal Survivors, and I'm so excited, beyond thrilled to be a part of this amazing project. I really think it's going to help so many others. But anyways, just to give you guys a little idea of who I am, I'm 26 years old. I just graduated with a bachelor's in human services. I'm super excited. Planning on, well, I don't know what I'm doing with my degree yet. So, but then again, who does these days? Uh, so, my story. I wouldn't really say I quite had an eating disorder. It more started out and kind of ended with OCD, to be honest. But it took form through food and exercise. And this whole story took place about 6 years ago. I had transferred schools from being in the mountains of North Carolina to the sunny beaches of Florida. I was really excited to be going to this amazing new school that was right on the beach. And I'm a performing arts student, or I used to be. Um, this whole story ends up being the reason that my degree kind of changed to human services. But so I started out doing performing arts in the mountains and loved it. I used to be involved in pretty much every production that our school did. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And then once I moved to Florida, it wasn't quite so easy to get roles in shows. I also wasn't taking as many performance classes. I did pick up costuming and enjoyed that, but not as much as I did the stage. That, along with the fact that I also was kind of trying to transition into Friends, but I couldn't seem to make any really good long life friends, which was odd for me because I'm very social. Going from an environment where I was always surrounded by people and socializing to this new thing where I wasn't performing, and then I also was alone a lot. I started going into an OCD type of trend with different things, I noticed. It could have been from washing my hands to counting, and then it transformed into health and fitness. And that's where it kind of spiraled and snowballed into a great big disaster. I started off going to the gym just about 2 to 3 times a week. And I enjoyed it. I thought, look at me, I'm getting into shape. You know what? I'm going to become really fit. And I was never overweight, never had any issues with self-esteem or what I looked like. I honestly I wanted to build muscle and tone up. I didn't really want to lose weight. But then before I realized it, the more I went to the gym, I started adding up my calories. And then I took it to food. I started taking note of my food intake. And then suddenly it started kind of becoming like a cool little puzzle game thing where I would subtract the amount of food that I had with the amount of calories that I was burning at the gym. So then it became a game that turned into a storm. There was no longer a hobby of going to the gym. It was an obsession that had completely taken over my mind. I started losing weight, but the more weight I lost, it was like I was winning the game, so to speak. It was a very twisted mindset that kind of developed. And the more weight that I lost, it only encouraged me. I wasn't worried about my health anymore. I didn't have any dreams. I didn't have passions. I didn't have hobbies. The only thing that went through my head was, what was I eating and how can I burn it off? I never threw up. I never vomited. I did restrict quite a bit on my food intake once I started counting up the calories and the fat grams and the carbohydrates and the sugars that were in everything. I started kind of nixing certain things off the list, and before you knew it, my daily food intake consisted of maybe like a piece of turkey and some lettuce, but with 3 hours at the gym. Needless to say, my body went into a very bad place. By Christmas Eve of that year, of the year that all this started, that Christmas Eve I was hospitalized because my heart rate had gotten so low. See, when your body weight gets to such a low point, your heart rate has to work super hard to try to pump blood through your body, but it has no energy to go off of. So that's the reason that so many anorexics end up with bradycardia. So in addition to bradycardia, my bones were starting to deteriorate because, as you could probably guess, my periods were gone. And then I started growing hair on my arms, but losing it out of my head. When you lose a significant amount of weight, your body has to compensate in different ways. I couldn't shiver, so interestingly enough, your body will actually grow like a very small bit of, like, it's just blonde, so it's not like you can actually see it, but you grow hair because you can't shiver. It can't use that energy that you would use to shiver because it needs to use that energy just to keep you alive. Also, whenever you lose your period, believe it or not, women need a period because otherwise our bones are going to deteriorate and you end up with osteoporosis. So I went into a state of osteopenia, which is right before you develop osteoporosis. Once I was out of the hospital, I was sent into inpatient treatment, which was hospitalization, but it's specifically for eating disorders. I spent about a month and a half, 2 months inpatient hospitalization, and as soon as I came out of that, I went into day treatment and did well enough to go back to school, but I went back to school back in North Carolina. Didn't want to go back to Florida. And there I had a relapse because, unfortunately, this new obsession wasn't easy to let go of. So I had another relapse in the mountains, got sent to residential treatment, and from there went in and out of treatment centers for the next several years until I finally came to a decision. Said, you know what? I'm done. This has got to stop. I can't keep living my life like this because I'm never going to have a career. I'm never going to have kids. I'm never going to have a family. I'm never going to have a home of my own. I'm going to live inside of treatment centers the rest of my life. I'm going to see these same walls, just in a different setting. I'm going to have a nurse coming and taking my vitals and drawing blood out of my arm twice a week. And I may not even be living that much longer. So either I change or continue to live like this the rest of my life. Because even if my body gets put back into the right shape that it needs to be in while in treatment, if this isn't any different and if this isn't different, then as soon as I get out of treatment, I'm going to go right back in. That's when I realized I've got to change. It wasn't me that put that in my head. It was totally God. God gave me a wake-up call. I was in residential treatment, and we went to a Sunday church service. And then I started looking around. I saw these 2 little girls in front of me. They were twins. And all I could think about was how cute they were. They were so precious. And I thought, man, I want to have a little girl one day and dress her up. And then I thought, I can't even have a period. I can't have kids. But maybe one day. And then I thought, well, when's that one day going to be, Randy? Because you've been doing this for about 5 years now. So are you ever going to get to that one day? At that point, God put this message in my head and in my heart saying, if you want to live, if you want a life, if you want the life that I planned for you, that I have set before you, all these dreams that I've placed in your heart. Because, you know, our dreams are not our dreams. God gave us our dreams. He gave us our passion. He gave us our likes and our dislikes. And he said, do you want all that to go to waste? Or do you want to do something with it? Do you want to be what I planned for you to be? Are you ready to do that? And I said, yes. I left residential treatment, AMA, which means against medical advice. And I have not been back to treatment since that day. Now, that's not to say I haven't struggled. Well, every day there's at least one kind of bad thought that kind of hits my head. But that's to be expected, you know? The devil's real. He's just as real as God is. And he's going to find out what bothers you most, and he's going to try to torment you with it. But instead of letting that bird make a nest in your head, you got to learn to let it just fly over. That's not always easy, but with God, he can give you the strength and the peace of mind, the wisdom, the patience, and his grace to guide you and to lead you to be what he's called you to be, and let go of those inner demons that try to attack. That's where I'm at today. So honored to be a part of Vocal Survivors. Thanks.